The very first day I tried moving into my new lakeside home, the HOA president planted her BMW across the gate, leaned over my hood and screamed, "You will not live here without my permission." Then she called 911, reporting me as an armed intruder. Imagine that, buying your dream retirement house only to be treated like a criminal. What she didn't know, I spent 30 years in the FBI, and I wasn't about to be scared off by a Karen with a clipboard. Act 1. The First Clash. I'm Frank Rogers. After decades chasing corrupt politicians and fraudsters, I finally retired. All I wanted was quiet mornings by the lake in Crystal Cove Estates, a neighborhood that looked picture-perfect on the brochures. I had every paper in order, deed, mortgage, HOA approvals, even architectural permits. So when Barbara Garcia, Crystal Cove's HOA president, stepped out of her luxury car designer suit, blonde hair, shellacked into place, and told me I wasn't authorized to move in, I thought it had to be a mix-up. "Ma'am, I've got every document right here," I said, holding out my folder thick with signatures and stamps. But Barbara just waved her hand like I was a waiter interrupting her dinner. "Those are preliminary approvals. Final integration requires my personal evaluation, a background review, and neighborhood compatibility." Integration background review. I'd bought a house, not applied to a cult. I tried reasoning, big mistake. Barbara's fake smile dropped, and her voice took on that sharp edge only bullies and career Karens possess. "If you can't respect our standards, maybe Crystal Cove isn't the right fit for you." Then she dialed 911 like she was calling in an airstrike. Neighbors peeked out from curtains. Others leaned on mailboxes, watching silently. No one lifted a finger. Everyone knew better than to cross Barbara. When the deputy arrived, he checked my papers and confirmed I was the legal owner. But he shrugged. "This looks like a civil matter between you and the HOA. Translation. His hands were tied. Barbara grinned, parked her BMW across the gate, unfolded a camping chair, and declared, "You're not entering my community without authorization." My community. She said it like she owned every streetlight and blade of grass. Right then I knew retirement wasn't going to be peaceful. Act 2. Escalation and the turn. The next morning she'd escalated into full theater. A pop-up tent at the gate, traffic cones, official-looking forms demanding my Social Security number 3 references, and a $500 processing fee. She strutted around in a reflective vest with a walkie-talkie crackling with real voices. Something felt off. HOA presidents don't usually run checkpoints with tactical gear. Who was she talking to on that radio? Then came the paperwork. A so-called process server shoved municipal violation notices into my hands, thousands in fines for unauthorized occupation. They looked official, but my FBI instincts screamed forgery. Dates didn't line up, language was copied from different statutes. Someone inside City Hall was helping her. And that's when Maria Santos, a young mom from down the street, showed up at my motel room. She looked nervous, glancing over her shoulder. "Mr. Rogers, she's been doing this for years. Fake violations, intimidation, people paying thousands just to be left alone. I've got recordings, and I've seen her meeting with someone from the clerk's office every Tuesday night." Maria spread out documents, bank statements, even photos of Barbara exchanging envelopes at a diner. It was all there, proof of fraud. That night, sitting on the sagging motel bed with papers spread around me, I actually questioned myself. Maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe I should just sell the place, cut my losses, find another lake somewhere quieter. The thought of spending retirement locked in a war with a power-hungry HOA president felt exhausting. But then Maria's words came back. "If you walk away, she'll keep destroying families here. Someone has to stop her." I looked at the fake fines again. Barbara hadn't just messed with the wrong homeowner, she'd picked the wrong retiree. The casino twist. So Maria and I followed her. On Tuesday night, we tracked Barbara to Riverside Casino. And there she was, sitting at a poker table, HOA checkbook open beside her chips like it was her personal wallet. She wasn't even hiding it. Every time she lost a hand, and she lost plenty, she wrote another HOA check. In an hour, she burned through over $4,000 of her neighbor's money. I stepped closer, making sure security cameras could see. "Mrs. Garcia, that's community money you're playing with, not yours." Her face went pale, then twisted into rage. "You don't understand. It's a loan. I always pay it back." But her daughter Jessica did understand. That same week, Jessica found casino receipts in her mom's office, proof her entire college fund, $23,000, had been blown on poker nights. When Jessica confronted her, Barbara tried to spin it as cash flow management. Even her own daughter saw through the lies. Jessica started recording her mother's every word. The break-in cornered Barbara went off the rails. 2 days later, my security system alerted me backdoor breached. I checked the live feed, and there she was, rummaging through my house with a bag full of realistic toy guns. She was planting them, staging photos, getting ready to call police, and claim I had an arsenal hidden in my living room. But her plan backfired because her daughter Jessica was across the street filming everything on her phone. I walked into my own home mid-frame up. Barbara froze, clutching a fake pistol clipboard in hand, like she was conducting official HOA business. "Mr. Rogers, thank goodness you're harboring weapons. As president, I must cite you immediately." "Mrs. Garcia." I cut her off, holding up my phone, streaming the footage. "You're on camera, breaking into my house, planting evidence. You've got 30 seconds to drop that toy and get out before I call the cops." Deputy Clark arrived moments later. One look at the footage at the planted arsenal, and he said flatly, "Ma'am, you're done." But Barbara wasn't finished. Not yet. Act 3. The Showdown. Barbara called an emergency HOA meeting, invited the entire neighborhood plus local media. She set up the community center like a courtroom, complete with a nameplate. President Garcia, Community Safety Officer. She strutted to the front papers stacked like damning evidence. "Ladies and gentlemen, this man is dangerous. Dismissed from the FBI for violence. Documented anger issues. I personally discovered an arsenal of weapons in his home." Every word was fabricated. She waved around fake psychological reports, showed photos of the toy guns she had planted. And the neighbors? God, you could see confusion on their faces, some actually believing her. But then Maria stood up. "Barbara, you're lying. We have recordings of you gambling HOA funds, conspiring to forge documents. You're not protecting this neighborhood, you're robbing it." Barbara snapped back. "You're colluding with this criminal." Then Pete Murphy, a grizzled mechanic and former HOA treasurer, slammed a folder on the table. "I've got records, Barbara. $67,000 missing under your watch. Every Tuesday night gone. You want to talk criminals? Look in the mirror." The room erupted in murmurs. Cameras flashed. The media scribbled furiously. And Barbara, cornered in front of her kingdom, tried her last card. "Officers, arrest them. They're disrupting an official HOA proceeding." That's when the real law walked in, federal agents summoned by Deputy Clark with the evidence we'd gathered. They moved calmly toward the front. Barbara straightened, gripping her clipboard like a shield. "I'm conducting official HOA business. You have no authority here." I stood up slowly, deliberately, every eye turning toward me. My voice carried across the room. "Actually, Mrs. Garcia, there's something you need to see." I pulled out my black FBI wallet, flipped it open, and let the badge catch the fluorescent light. "Frank Rogers, retired Special Agent, Federal Bureau of Investigation. I've spent the last month documenting your fraud, your embezzlement, your fake documents, and your civil rights violations." Silence. You could hear the cameras whir. Barbara's jaw dropped. Clipboard slipped from her hands, clattering on the floor. For 10 full seconds, 10 seconds that felt like eternity, she stood frozen, eyes wide, face drained of color. Every phone in the room captured it. That freeze became instant legend the exact second a Karen realized she had been messing with the wrong man. When she finally spoke, her voice cracked. "That's not real. That badge is fake. He's lying." But the federal agent beside me said firmly, "These credentials are real, and Barbara Garcia, you're under arrest." They cuffed her as she sputtered about authority, about her rights, about being HOA president. Nobody moved to help her, not even her own daughter.